When you threaten to leave, I suddenly become the perfect partner. I listen, I apologize, I act loving. But it's all an act. As soon as you stay, I go back to normal. Here's why I'll never really change. You're packing your bags. I can see it from the doorway. The suitcase is open on the bed, and you're moving with that deliberate slowness people use when they want to be noticed. You're folding your shirts with precision, like each crease is a statement. Like this time, you really mean it. I lean against the doorframe and let the silence stretch. I know what you're waiting for. You want me to panic. You want me to beg. You want some dramatic scene where I fall to my knees and promise the world. But here's what you don't understand yet. I've done this before. I've perfected this, and I know exactly what happens next. I take a breath, a slow, defeated breath, and I let my shoulders drop. I let my voice crack just slightly, just enough. I know I messed up. I know I've been terrible to you. You freeze. Your hands pause on a sweater. You don't look at me yet, but I see your body language shift. You're listening. Good. I've been thinking about it. About everything you said last week. You were right. I haven't been present. I've been dismissive. I've made you feel small, and that's unforgivable. I use your exact words, the ones you screamed at me 3 nights ago, the ones you've been rehearsing in your head for months. I hand them back to you, gift wrapped in my voice, and I watch your defenses start to wobble. You turn to face me now. Your eyes are red. You've been crying while you packed, and that familiar wave of contempt washes through me. Why are you always so fragile? But I bury it instantly. I let my own eyes soften. I let them glisten, just a little. I don't want to lose you. I know I don't deserve another chance. But if you'll let me, I want to try. Really try this time. And there it is, that flicker of hope in your face. You want so badly to believe me. You want this version of me, the soft one, the vulnerable one, the one who finally sees you, to be real. You've been waiting for this moment since the first time I made you feel invisible. So I will give it to you. I apologize for the specific things. The time I embarrassed you at dinner in front of your friends. The way I've been distracted and on my phone when you try to talk to me. The cold silences. The dismissive comments. I list them all. And with each admission, I watch you soften. I'm going to do better. I'm going to listen. I'm going to be the partner you deserve. You step toward me, and I wrap my arms around you, and you collapse into my chest like you've been holding yourself together with wire, and it's finally snapped. I just want you to see me. I see you. I'm sorry it took me so long. You believe me. You actually believe me. And just like that, the suitcase gets unpacked. Here's what I know that you don't. This feeling won't last. Not for me anyway. Right now, I might even believe my own performance. There's a part of me that wants to be this person, the attentive partner, the reformed villain, the man who learned his lesson. It feels powerful to watch you melt, to know that I can make you stay with nothing more than words. But that power, that's the only part that actually feels real. The rest of it, the empathy, the remorse, the promise to change. It's like I'm reading lines from a script. I know what to say because I've studied you. I've watched what makes you cry, what makes you angry, what makes you feel safe. And when you threaten to leave, I simply perform. I become exactly what you need me to be. I mirror your pain back to you. I validate your feelings with the precision of someone who's done this so many times the words have worn grooves into my brain, but inside I feel nothing. Or maybe that's not entirely true. I feel irritated. I feel impatient. I feel a creeping resentment that you're making me do this again, that you're forcing me to humble myself, to grovel, to pretend that your feelings matter as much as mine. Because here's the truth. They don't. Not to me. To me, your feelings are obstacles. They're speed bumps on the road to getting what I want, which is you, compliant, adoring, utterly devoted. When you're happy and giving me attention, I don't have to think about you at all. You're just there like furniture, providing comfort and function. But when you get needy, when you start making demands, when you want me to show up emotionally or be present or remember the things you told me last week, that's when you become a problem, and I hate problems. So I will solve you the only way I know how. I give you just enough to make you stop complaining. I learn the minimum effective dose of affection required to keep you around, and then, as soon as you're settled again, I go back to normal. The first week after you unpack, I'm incredible. I bring you coffee in the morning, exactly how you like it. I ask about your day and actually listen. Or at least I perform listening so convincingly that you can't tell the difference. I initiate conversations about us, about our future, about the changes I'm going to make. I even suggest couples therapy. You cry again when I say it. Happy tears this time. You tell me you're proud of me. You tell me this is the man you fell in love with. And I smile and hold you and think, you fell in love with a ghost. That version of me you're remembering, the one from the early days who was charming and attentive and made you feel like the center of the universe, that wasn't real either. That was the love bombing. That was me studying you, learning you, figuring out exactly what you needed to hear to get you hooked. Because that's what this is. You're hooked. You're hooked on the highs. The moments when I'm everything you ever wanted. The moments when I see you, when I validate you, when I make you feel special and chosen and loved. And like anyone who creates emotional dependency, I know the secret isn't giving you a constant supply. That would make you complacent. No, the secret is the cycle. I give you the high. I make you feel amazing. I flood you with attention and affection until you're floating. And then I withdrew it. Slowly at first. So slowly, you don't even notice. I get a little distracted. I'm a little busy. I forgot to text you back. I'm tired when you want to talk. I'm on my phone during dinner, and you start to panic. You start wondering what you did wrong. You start working harder to please me, to get my attention back, to remind me of how good we are together. And I let you work. I let you chase. I let you exhaust yourself trying to get back to that feeling. And then, just when you're about to break, just when you're about to pack that suitcase again, I give you another hit. I had a good day. I'm affectionate. I compliment you. I'm present. And you're so relieved, so grateful, that you forget how terrible I was. You forget that you were miserable. You forget that you were planning to leave. You just feel lucky that I came back. It's been 3 weeks since you unpacked. I can feel myself getting bored with the performance. The coffee in the morning feels like a chore. The conversations about feelings make my skin crawl. The therapy sessions, those are excruciating. Sitting there nodding along while you talk about your childhood and your needs and your boundaries, pretending I'm absorbing any of it, I'm not. I'm thinking about work, about my phone, about the new person who started in accounting who laughed at my joke yesterday, about literally anything except this. But I hold the mask in place. I say the right things. I use the therapeutic language the counselor feeds me. I talk about emotional availability and active listening and taking accountability. And it works. You're glowing. You tell your friends we're doing better. You tell your mother, I'm really trying. You post a photo of us on social media with some quotes about growth and second chances, and I smile for the camera and think about how much I resent you for making me do this. Because that's what this is in my mind. Something you're making me do. I don't see this as my responsibility. I don't see my behavior, the coldness, the cruelty, the silent treatments, the criticism, as something I need to fix. I see it as something you're overreacting to. You're too sensitive, too needy, too emotional. If you could just be easier, I wouldn't have to pretend. But you can't. So I do. And week by week, the resentment builds. It happens gradually. First, I forgot to bring you coffee one morning. You don't say anything, but I see the disappointment flash across your face. I ignore it. Then, I'm on my phone during dinner again. You ask me to put it down, and I do, but I sigh first. A small sigh. Just enough to let you know you're being annoying. You let it go. Then, I canceled the therapy session. I tell you I'm swamped at work, which is only partially true. Really, I just can't stand sitting in that room for another hour pretending to care about feelings. You're disappointed, but you understand. You always understand. And that's when I know I have you again. You're not going to leave. You've told everyone we're doing better. You've publicly committed to this version of us, and you've seen me change, which means you believe I can do it again. So, You stop complaining. You stop asking for things. You lower your expectations bit by bit until the bar is so low I can step over it without even trying. And I'm back to normal. Cold, distant, dismissive. You cry sometimes late at night when you think I'm asleep. You whisper to yourself that you don't know what you did wrong, that you thought things were getting better, but you don't pack your bags. Not yet. Because I gave you hope. And hope is the cruelest thing I could have given you. I don't do this consciously. I'm not sitting in a dark room plotting your downfall like some cartoon villain. It's more automatic than that. More instinctive. When you threaten to leave, I feel panic. Real panic. Not because I love you in the way you want me to love you, but because I need you. You provide validation, attention, a sense of control, a warm body in the bed, someone to manage the boring parts of my life. You're useful? And when you threaten to remove yourself, my brain goes into crisis mode. It calculates the cost of losing you versus the cost of changing, and it decides, every single time, that pretending to change is cheaper. So I do it. I say the words. I perform the actions. I give you just enough to make you stay. And then, once the crisis is over, once you're unpacked and settled, my brain relaxes. The panic fades. And without the panic to motivate me, there's no reason to keep up the act. Because actually changing, actually becoming the person you need me to be, that would require me to see you as fully human. To care about your inner world as much as I care about my own. To feel genuine empathy when you're hurting, genuine joy when you're happy, genuine remorse when I've hurt you. And I don't. I can't. Or maybe I just won't. All I know is that when I look at you, I don't see a person with needs and feelings and a soul. I see a function, a role, a supporting character in my story. And supporting characters don't get to make demands. You threaten to leave again 6 months later. We're back to where we started. The suitcase is on the bed. You're crying. You're telling me you can't do this anymore, that you've tried everything, that you're exhausted. And I feel that familiar flicker of panic. So I do it again. I soften my voice. I drop my shoulders. I apologize. I know I slipped. But it's fine. I can fix this. I'm going to do better. And you want so badly to believe me. So I will give you that version again. I'm attentive. I'm loving it. I'm present. And you stay. But here's what's different this time. It lasts even less long. 3 weeks instead of 3 months. Then 2 weeks. Then days. Because the truth is, I'm getting tired of pretending. And you're getting tired of hoping. Each time I do this, the performance is a little less convincing. Each time you stay, you hate yourself a little more. And each time, the cycle tightens. Until one day, you'll pack that suitcase, and you won't wait for me to stop you. Or maybe you will. Maybe you'll wait forever. Either way, I win. Because if you stay, I keep you. And if you leave, I find someone new to start the cycle with. Someone who doesn't know the script yet. Someone who still believes in change. Here's what I tell myself to justify it all. I'm not that bad. Other people are worse. At least I don't harm you physically. At least I'm not being unfaithful. At least I provide for you financially. I tell myself you're dramatic, that you expect too much, that really it's your fault for having unrealistic expectations. I tell myself everyone does this. Everyone performs. I tell myself I can't help it, that this is just who I am, that people don't really change. I tell myself you'd be miserable with anyone, that you're the problem, not me. And sometimes late at night when even I can't sleep, I tell myself something darker, that I'm empty, that there's something missing inside me that other people have. Some capacity for connection, for genuine feeling, for caring about another person's pain, and that scares me. Because if that's true, if I'm fundamentally broken, then everything I've built, the relationships, the career, the image, is just a house of cards. So I don't think about it. I push it down. I bury it under work and distractions and the daily performance of being human. And I keep doing what I do. I keep pretending to change, just long enough to make you stay. But here's the thing I don't tell you. The thing I barely admit to myself. Every time you almost leave, I feel it. Not love, not exactly, but something. A crack in the armor. a flash of panic that goes deeper than just losing my supply. It's the terrifying possibility that you're right, that I am the problem, that I am hurting you, that I am choosing to hurt you over and over because it's easier than actually changing, and for a split second I feel shame. Real, searing, unbearable shame. The kind of shame that makes my chest tight and my hands shake. The kind of shame that whispers, "You are not a good person, and I cannot tolerate it." So I do what I always do. I turn it into something else. The shame becomes rage. Rage at you for making me feel this way. Rage at you for having needs. Rage at you for not being satisfied with the scraps I give you, and I punish you for it. I withdraw further. I get colder. I make sure you know that this, all of this, is your fault. And then when you're broken enough, when you're small enough, when you've apologized enough for crimes you didn't commit, I give you another crumb of affection, and you take it, because you still believe. Let me tell you what happens next. Years pass. Maybe you leave, maybe you don't. Maybe you waste a decade of your life waiting for me to become real. Maybe you have children with me and spend your life modeling this toxicity for them, teaching them that love means enduring, that change means a few good weeks followed by months of misery. Or maybe you wake up. Maybe you realize that the pattern will never break because I will never break it, that the person you fell in love with was a performance, and the person you're living with now is the truth. Maybe you realize that hope isn't love, that potential isn't a relationship, and maybe, just maybe, you leave for real. And when you do, I'll try the script one more time. I'll apologize. I promise. I'll cry if I have to. But if you've truly woken up, if you've finally seen the pattern for what it is, you won't hear me. You'll just close the door, and I'll move on to the next person. Because that's what I do. He thinks he won. He thinks the cycle is unbreakable, that you'll always stay, or that if you leave, there will always be someone new. And he's not entirely wrong. This pattern, this pretending to change, this weaponizing hope, it works devastatingly well, especially on people who are empathetic, who want to believe in growth, who were taught that love means giving people second chances. But there is one thing that terrifies a narcissist more than anything: indifference. Not anger, not tears, not threats. Indifference. Let me explain what's actually happening here, and why understanding it is your only way out. What you just heard isn't just manipulation. It's a specific pattern that works the same way compulsive behavior does. You get a big win, a rush of relief and connection, and then nothing for a long time. Then another win, then nothing. Your brain gets wired to chase that high, to keep trying, to believe the next time will be different. When you threaten to leave, the narcissist doesn't actually change. They don't suddenly develop empathy or sustained emotional connection. What happens is they feel a wound to their ego. Your leaving means they're not as important or irreplaceable as they believe. That triggers deep, unbearable shame. But they cannot sit with shame. Shame to them feels like complete destruction, so they convert it instantly into calculated rage. They channel it into a performance of change. They study your exact complaints and mirror them back to you as evidence of self-awareness. They use your own words, your own pain, to craft a version of themselves that looks like growth, but it's not growing. It's shape-shifting. They're not changing who they are. They're changing what you see just long enough for the threat to pass. And once you stay, once you recommit, the shame evaporates, the wound heals, and they go back to baseline because the crisis is over. The pattern you're experiencing is what researchers call the vulnerable narcissist's dark cloud. Unlike narcissists who control through charm, vulnerable narcissists control through weaponized misery. They flood you with promises of change during a crisis, then return to sullen resentment and emotional starvation. They are chronic complainers. If you solve one problem, they find another. If you meet one need, they discover a new one. The goalpost moves constantly because the point isn't improvement. It's keeping you in motion, keeping you trying, keeping you focused on them. This is where soul distancing becomes critical. If you cannot leave, financially, logistically, because of children, You must protect your inner world. Stop giving them your vulnerability. Stop sharing your good news. They will ruin it. Stop sharing your bad news. They will weaponize it. Share only neutral news. The weather, logistics, surface-level facts. Treat the relationship like a business transaction. Polite, functional, emotionally neutral, because here's what they cannot tolerate. They need your emotional investment. They need you to hope, to try, to believe, to care. The moment you stop caring whether they change, the moment you accept that this is who they are, and you're simply managing the situation rather than fighting to fix it, you remove their primary source of supply, and that terrifies them. Because without your hope, they're left alone with their shame. But here's the real truth. You cannot fix this from inside the relationship. You cannot love them without changing. You cannot be good enough, patient enough, understanding enough to make them become the person they pretended to be, because that person never existed. The version of them that apologizes and listens and promises to do better, that's not the real them struggling to surface. That's a mask they wear when they need to. The real them is the one who goes back to normal. The real them is the one who resents you for making them perform. The real them is the one who sees your humanity as an inconvenience. So here's what you need to do. Stop responding to the performance. The next time they apologize, the next time they promise to change, the next time they cry and say all the right things, don't unpack, don't believe it, don't hope, just watch. Watch how long it lasts. Watch what happens when the crisis is over. Watch them return to baseline. And when they do, because they will, make your decision with open eyes. If you cannot leave physically, leave emotionally. This is soul distancing. You firewall your heart. You keep your most intimate thoughts, your dreams, your vulnerabilities locked away where they cannot touch them. You give them only what is safe. You become polite, functional, detached. You stop hoping for connection. You accept that this relationship is a famine, and you must find nourishment elsewhere. Plan your exit even if it takes years. Financial independence. A separate bank account they don't know about. Documentation of their behavior. A support network outside the relationship. Therapy for yourself. You might not be ready to leave today, but you prepare for the day you will be. And you do it quietly. You simply build the infrastructure of your freedom brick by brick. Because here's what they can't manipulate. They can fake empathy. They can fake remorse. They can fake change. But they can't fake their way past your indifference. So stop giving them your hope. Stop giving them your belief. Stop giving them your soul. Let them perform in an empty room. And when they realize you're no longer watching, no longer waiting, no longer believing, that's when the real mask falls. And you'll finally see what was always underneath. Nothing. Just a carefully constructed performance, desperately trying to keep itself alive. But without your belief to sustain it, it collapses, and you walk away. Not with your suitcase packed in a dramatic gesture, but quietly, internally, completely, you walk away in your soul, and you never come back. Listen, I know this is heavy. I know if you're watching this, you're probably in pain right now. You're probably wondering if you're crazy, if you're the problem, if maybe this time really will be different. But I need you to hear me. You are not crazy. You are not the problem. And this time will not be different unless you make it different. You have more power than you think. The power to see clearly. The power to stop participating in the cycle. The power to protect yourself even if you can't leave yet. You are not alone. Thousands of people watching this right now know exactly what you're going through. Who's unpacked that suitcase a dozen times? Who've believed the promises and been disappointed again and again? But many of them got out. Many of them rebuilt their lives. Many of them found real love, real partnership, real connection after they stopped accepting the performance as reality. You can too. If this video helped you see the pattern more clearly, if it gave you clarity or hope, hit that subscribe button. Not for me, but for yourself. I post videos like this every week to help you understand the psychological tactics being used against you and how to defend yourself. This is your armor. This is your education. This is how you stop being a target and start being a strategist. And like this video because it helps other people stuck in this cycle find it too. Someone out there needs to hear this today. Someone is packing their bags right now wondering if they should give one more chance. Let's make sure they see this first. You've got this. You're stronger than you know, and you deserve so much better than a performance. Now, go protect your soul. And when you're ready, go build the life you actually deserve. I'll see you in the next one.